The holiday season is upon us. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's a time for joy, celebration, and togetherness with family and friends. But for those of us running a business, and especially us mompreneurs, it can also be one of the most busiest and stressful times of the year. If you want more balance, less stress, and to feel greater joy this holiday season, today's video is for you. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Shawon, and joining me today is a very special guest, and her name is Dr. Carol Perlman. Dr. Carol is a licensed psychologist specializing in cognitive behavioral therapy. She has worked at top medical centers in the Boston area and has maintained a private practice since 2005. For more than 2 decades, she's been helping individuals overcome difficulties and achieve their personal goals. She teaches online courses on time management for maximizing productivity and improving work-life balance. She's also the host of Healthy Habits for Life podcast. Please help me welcome Dr. Carol to the channel. I am so excited to have Carol on the channel with us today to share with us. And before we dive in, I want you to share with us, Carol, what has been your journey? What has led you to where you are today and serving the clients that you serve?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you, Shawon. I'm so happy to be here today. It has been a wild journey, and you never know. In the beginning of your career, when you're in school, you really never know where you're going to end up. And I think it's a really fascinating journey. So ironically, I was in graduate school to become a psychologist for a good 7 years, maybe. And at the time, I was working on a project to help people with depression. And there were a lot of components of this treatment, and everybody had a different role. And so would you believe that my role was to be in charge of the lifestyle component and how lifestyle factors can be really important in helping to treat depression. So way back when I was maybe 20, 22, maybe. And I came into grad school really passionate about the same topic that I'm talking about today, so many years later. And that was the role of nutrition and fitness and well-being, and how these lifestyle behaviors are so important, and they play an important role in preventing depression and treating depression and contribute to overall well-being. So that's the origins, is working on that study. And I was known as the lifestyle person, way back then. And then my career took off, and I fell into a more traditional role as a psychologist, treating a lot of different problems like depression and anxiety and trauma. But this lifestyle piece kept calling to me. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that this is what I was passionate about. And this was the way in which I wanted to help people. I always knew I wanted to be a therapist. I always knew I wanted to help people, but it became really clear that this was how. And so I was in my private practice, fast forward many, many years later, and trying to figure out, how do I pivot and really focus more on these lifestyle behaviors? So I ended up joining a company that would enable me to do more health coaching, and was doing that for many years and starting to shift my practice. And at the same time, I was working at a big academic medical setting in the early 2000s, and I was invited to work on a program to help adults with ADHD to use what we call cognitive behavioral therapy skills to manage ADHD symptoms. And so while I was also interested in all this lifestyle piece, I was also doing this work with adults with ADHD for over 2 decades. And I realized, as I sat with so many people, that everybody struggles. You may not have a diagnosis of ADHD, but everybody struggles to manage all of the demands of day-to-day life, especially now that we have so much on our plate, and there are so many distractions, and it's just not easy for all of us, myself included. I have to work hard on it too. And so none of us are immune to this. And so I just kind of fell into this niche, and I realized that I could take the skills that I knew were helpful for adults with ADHD and help them, kind of generalize them to be relevant for everybody. And so early in COVID in 2020, I was helping a friend actually with these kinds of skills. And together we decided to create a program that I could sell online and connect with people online and help teach them these skills. And so that launched a whole new branch of my career of my business, and I've loved it so much getting to work with individuals to teach them skills for getting the most out of every day. And really at the end of the day, not only is it about getting the most out of your day, but it's about feeling your best
Hmm.
throughout your day, kind of waking up, feeling excited about your day, being productive, having time for fun and relaxation and things that are important to you, and then going to bed feeling really great about how your day went. And in a nutshell, that's what I'm all about teaching these days.
I love it. And okay, so I didn't share this in the intro, but I'll say everyone that's been on a Let's Talk has either been a business friend or a client, and Carol has been a client. And when she came into the studio for her branding session, I just automatically gravitated to her, even during our calls. And it was that whole part of what she does in helping her clients manage the juggle of everything. And if you know me, a lot of what I talk about is planning and goal setting because it's so important. And one of the things that we totally clicked on when we were setting up your set was The Miracle Morning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite books. One of, I would say, definitely something that I live by. Maybe not following it to the T every single day, but my goodness, it helps so much. And how you feel, starting your day, some of the things that you just mentioned. So I just had to mention that because yeah,
We knew we spoke the same language. We spoke, hi,
absolutely.
I'm Carol. Nice to meet you. I speak Miracle Morning. And you got it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I am so excited as I was preparing for our talk. That excitement just hit me again because I knew exactly what we were going to be talking about. And especially with it being relevant to it's the most wonderful time of the year. We're rolling into the holiday season. And as mompreneurs, busy business owners, there's a lot to juggle and balance when it comes to our personal life as well as our businesses. And you're going to share some of your top tips and strategies with us today. And I am just so excited.
I am as well. As I was rereading my notes, I was thinking, this is such an important message to get out. And so I'm so glad that we had this opportunity because, if I could pick one word that really summarizes how I want to have an impact on people, it's teaching them about intention, going through your day with
Mm,
intention and setting it up intentionally so that you get out of it exactly what you want. And I think it's so perfect at this time of year as we go into the holidays. There's so much that's about to hit us in the face, right?
mhm.
So many
Yes.
to-dos, things to be excited about. I mean, it's not all bad. It's busy and there's a
No.
lot to do. And then there's so much to be excited about, but it's just a lot, a lot, a lot. And so what the real big theme that I wanted to talk about today was how to go into this holiday season being very intentional about different parts of your life that are important to you so that you make sure you get out of this holiday season exactly what you want and that you feel exactly how you want to during this holiday season.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And that leads perfectly into the very first tip, which is spending some time right now deciding what your goals are for this season. So let's dive into this first tip.
Yeah, I think we want, when we think about that, we want to think about two different categories. So, what are your goals and what are your intentions when it comes to your
Mhm.
business? And what are your goals and intentions when it comes to your personal life? And it can be so valuable to just spend a little bit of time and think about that. And I always find that writing or journaling is really helpful. When we're thinking about things in our head, it's very swirly and you can feel like the thoughts are going around and around, but you're not really accomplishing or gaining any clarity. But when you write it out, when you take it from your head onto your computer or onto a piece of paper, all of a sudden the answers jump out and you get so much more clarity. So I do recommend doing a little bit of writing about this and think about what you want to get. So, with your business, for example, and this might vary a little bit from listener to listener, depending on what kind of business you have, but this may be the season of expanding your business. This might be a great opportunity for sales. And so, this might be the very time that you gear up for all year and you're going to do the bulk of your business now. So you might be thinking expansion and full steam ahead. Or
Mhm.
you might have the kind of business that actually slows down a little bit over the holiday season. So you might say, we're just going to maintain and think specifically, what kind of presence do you want to continue to have? If you have a social media presence, or if you're still supporting clients or customers, how do you want to do that? But it might be more scaled back and just sort of gentle support. Or you might decide to take a huge step back and say, you know what, the holidays are the most important time for me and my family. And
Mhm.
financially, I can handle it. And I'm not going to expect a whole lot out of my business because I'm really going to switch gears and really focus on my personal life. And all three of those scenarios can be perfectly okay. It really just depends upon your business, your clients, the kind of work you do, the products you sell, and perhaps the financial goals that you have for you and your family.
So good, so good. I love that you are starting with bringing in both your business and your personal life. Sometimes we can get so heavily focused on just the business side that we forget to look at both. And as you mentioned earlier, how do you want it to feel for you this season? And I love
Yeah.
that you shared those three different possibilities because it doesn't have to be just one way, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
with your different goals. So, if you're someone who's going full steam ahead on your business because this is your
Mhm.
best time of the year for sales, and I would venture to say that many of the people listening who are business owners are very driven and goal oriented. So if you're driven in your business and goal oriented in your business, you're probably pretty driven and goal oriented in your life. So let's say you have health and fitness goals, and maybe you're on a weight loss journey and you're trying to lose some weight, or you have fitness goals and you're trying to get stronger. Well, you can apply the very same strategy. So if you are going, for example, full steam ahead in your business, is this really the time of year when you're also going to go full steam ahead with your fitness goals? Or maybe you say, I'm just going to go into maintenance and I'm not going to give up and eat whatever I want and, never see the gym for 3 months. But maybe you create a plan that enables you to scale back, have some fun, be more relaxed with it, and know that when this busy season for your business passes, that then you'll go back to being more full steam ahead with your personal goals.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And speaking of planning, we set the intention. Now it's time to plan. So let's talk a little bit about that planning process.
Yes. So wherever you landed, whatever you decide your goals are going to be for your business and for your personal life, there's that expression that I just love that says a goal without a plan is only a wish. Right. So if you say, I want to just rock this holiday season with my sales, I want it to be my best year ever. Well, that's all good and well, but you can't just wish that into being. You can't just manifest it into being by thinking it. You have to really have a plan. And so the next tip I would share is to take your goals, whatever you decided they are, and then break them down. And, some people call this reverse engineer the goal and say, okay, if you want your sales to be X, Y, and Z, then break it down and figure out how many sales do I need per week, per month, per day? And then what are the business activities that I need to do in order to get me there? Same thing with your personal goals. Let's say you want to have all of your shopping done by December 15th, even, so that you can just take all that pressure off and, just again, focus on enjoying holiday parties and being with people. Well, okay, if that's your goal is to have everything done, then I would suggest make a list of all the gifts you need to buy and then assign them times in your calendar when you're going to take care of it and work your way backwards. So if it has to be done by the 15th, then start plugging in different blocks for shopping so you know when you need to start in order to finish on time.
Love it. Oh gosh, that December 15th sounds very hopeful.
Yeah, it could be done. It could totally be done. 100%.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
And okay, so we have the intention, we have the plan, we have breaking it down into smaller steps. So sometimes we can feel like, okay, I have my plan. Now I'm the one who has to do it all. I have to do all the things, cook all the meals, do all the shopping. What would be some advice? when it
Yes.
comes to getting it done.
I know, that's so important. So I just wanna back up for a moment and say I kinda
Uh-huh.
combined. I was going to give you 5 tips, so we kind of combined 2 and 3, and I just wanna make sure that we were clear on that. So
Yes.
tool 2 was the idea of making a very specific plan and not just having a wish for how the season will go. And
Mhm.
then 3 was breaking it down. So take these big goals, whether, shopping, cleaning my house, getting out holiday cards, whatever they are, take those big projects and break them down into smaller pieces and then map them out so
Mhm.
you have saved enough time to get everything done by the time that you want to. So that was 2 and 3. And yes, 4 is don't be afraid to ask for help. This is probably a little bit stereotypical, but a lot of times it's the women who are doing a lot behind the scenes to create all the fun and magic of the
Mhm.
holidays. And I don't think we get any, I don't think the holidays are any better or our families experience it as any better if we do absolutely everything and never delegate and ask for help. At the end of the day, it will be wonderful. And you don't want to be totally burnt out and resentful and exhausted by the time you get to your holiday celebrations. So think about, and again, doing some writing can be really helpful. Think about
Mhm.
who can you ask for help and what would you want to ask for help with. There might be some parts of the holiday festivities that there's no way you're going to delegate that. That has to have your special touch. But maybe there are others like cleaning your house. Maybe that's something that someone else can do. And you can either assign some jobs to the family, or if you have the finances, you can think about hiring someone. So think about what are the tasks that only you can do and
Mhm.
what are the tasks that other people really could do. And I know that one's hard because some people fall into that trap of, well, I need to do it because only I'm going to do it the right way or exactly how I want it done. And so you might have to compromise with yourself a little bit and think about, which is going to be better at the end of the day. Is it going to be better that this task is done exactly how I wanted it? Or is it better that someone
Mhm.
else does it and frees me up to spend my time on other things?
Absolutely. Absolutely love, 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 love asking for help. It's okay. It's
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And
And I was just going to add one other thing, which is that asking for help, we want to set you up for success with that. So asking for help can either go well or it can not go well. Chances are it's not going to well if you go too well. If you wait too long and now you're angry and frustrated and resentful and now you're just kind of snapping at people and saying, why am I doing all of this? Why is nobody helping me? And now nobody feels good in that situation. So again, being intentional about the help that you want and thinking about this in advance and having conversations with the people who are involved in advance when things are calm is going to set you up for better success. So you might have conversations and say, here are the list of things that I'm going to do. Here are the list of things I'd like some help with. And then talk to each family and say, which do you think you would be best suited for? Which would you be willing, able, and comfortable doing? Because you might have the thought, oh, I want this family member to do this job, but maybe they have no idea how to do that. They hate doing that of all the jobs. So you want to try to make it a fit and get their input on what they feel comfortable with, relatively speaking, so that everybody is as happy as can be.
love that. And this also goes back to how do you want this season to feel for you?
Yeah.
And taking that time and thinking about that, like really writing down those words of feeling and really feeling it. I think
Yes.
it'll help too when it comes to asking for help because it'll go back to that goal. The intention is, well, this is how I want to feel. And in
Yeah.
order to feel this way, these are the things I need to do or the people that I need to ask for help.
Yes.
So it all
Exactly.
flows together so
Yeah.
nicely. It really
Some
does.
some people like to pick an actual word and say, "My word for this
Mm,
season,"
mm,
maybe it's, collaboration, or
mm.
maybe it's excitement, or whatever works for you, but some people like to really focus on that word and keep that in mind as they think about having hard conversations or doing hard things. That word can be very grounding.
So good. So good. And speaking of like the feeling and the season itself, we often, I'm going to say women, we can be the last on our list just from like, during the other months of the year, we typically are last on the list and we are doing in our businesses and we're caring for and we're nurturing and we are doing all the things a lot. And we tend to forget about who's the person we forget about, Carol?
Ourselves, of course,
Yeah,
of course. The
yeah.
first thing to go can often be the self-care activities that we would need or want to do for ourselves. And it's not okay. It's so easy to fall into that trap, and yet at the same time, intellectually, we all know it's not okay. And I think, wouldn't it be wonderful for all of us listening and participating in this conversation to go into this year and trying to bridge that gap between what we know to be true, to be good for us, and what we actually
Mhm.
do, and make those more aligned. Make this the year that those are more aligned with each other.
Love that. So do not neglect self-care. That was the last, I think, in one of the most important
Yeah.
tips in everything that you've shared. And also, do you have, as we're wrapping up, do you have any personal story or how implementing these tips in your business and personal life has really benefited you, or maybe a client story that you want to share with us?
Yeah, well, I think, I love how you're really underscoring this point, because I do think it's so important. And so, again, this might be something to think about in advance. And maybe I think this is something that I've learned to do really well, and it's benefited me time and time again, which is thinking in advance about what you're going to need and how you can set that up. So, one thing that I do, that I teach all my clients in my time management program, is to pick one day a week when you set up your plan for the entire week. And I know that can feel overwhelming to some people, and it might feel really different, but I really encourage you to try to sit down with your calendar, with your big list of things to do, and figure out, when is everything going to happen? Because when you do that in advance, you then have the opportunity to look at your whole week and sit back for a moment and say, how does that feel? Have I accounted for everything that I need to? And then, of course, our eye is going to go to the task. Am I doing everything I need to do for my job and my business? But then there are the other questions to ask yourself. Do I see time in there for self-care? Have I plugged in times to go to the gym? Do I see any time to do anything fun? If my family is really important to me, do I see time carved out specifically to spend time with my family, or to go on a date with my husband? To relax, to have zero expectation, and say, during this time block, I'm going to put all expectations aside and give myself full permission to just relax and do whatever that means. Watch Netflix, knit, read, twiddle your thumbs, whatever it is. Just do what makes you happy. And I think it's the greatest gift that we can give ourselves, is to separate out. So work when it's time to work, and be really focused and productive, and then give yourself permission to put it all aside and play, rest, relax, take care of yourself, have fun, guilt-free, because you know that there's a plan in place to get everything done.
Mm. Ah, well, Carol, this talk today has been a wonderful gift to all of us as we are going into this season where we are giving, and we're thinking in that way too. And what a wonderful gift that you've given us. And I just so appreciate you spending some time with us today, sharing from your experience. And oh my gosh, there's so many golden nuggets in every tip that you've shared with us today. Will you let us know where we can follow you, where we can find more?
Yeah, I love to talk about this. So you can find me all over social media. I'm on Instagram at Carol Perlman. I'm on Facebook. You can find me under Carol Perlman, actually Carol Winnett Perlman. I don't know why. When I set up my Facebook account, I set it up with my maiden name. So you'll still find me there. And so you'll hear me sharing lots of tips, especially as we're going through this holiday season. I'm always sharing. I'm working on myself every day. As much as I am trying to teach, I'm always working on myself, and I'm sharing what's working for me, and what's not working, and what I'm trying to problem solve. And you can also check out my website, where I have lots of information about my programs. They are self-paced, which means that you can buy them at any time. You can go through the program. They're designed in very little bits, so you can do a little bit at a time. So it's really doable for people who are very busy. And you can check out my website at carolperlman.com, or my time management program is itsabouttime-management.com/TM.
Thank you so much. And I'm also going to leave Carol's information down in the description below for you to check out more about her resources, follow her on social. And Carol, I just want to say thank you so much again for your time today. I knew that this was going to be a great talk. I am beaming. I'm excited to start planning for the holidays. I can't believe Thanksgiving is in 2 weeks. Can you believe that? Two and a
I
half weeks?
know.
Oh my
I know.
gosh. Oh my.
And aren't you feeling kind of excited to take out your planner and start mapping out your holiday season? I know I am. And, now that we talk about it, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm really excited to make a plan and be really intentional and feel great through it. So I hope everybody else is too.
Absolutely. And let us know in the comments below which of these tips stood out to you most. What has resonated with you today? And once again, I want to say thank you. And thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next video. Bye.